Just waiting for the legend Hopkins to be able to start. First of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for attending this historical press conference. We strongly feel that Hopkins obviously deserves. As everyone knows, we're calling this fight the final one, which Hopkins personally has expressed that this is the final one, and he wants to make sure that he
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thanks to the media, everybody that's here. Final one, get right to the chase. It's important that you recognize that whether you believe or don't believe, that not only this is history, because we know we've been here many times, not in this arena, but we've been at places where history was made by me multiple times. But this is obviously different than anything I've done, because this is final one. And my partner Oscar De La Hoya came up with the great title of this fight, and to me, it's a moment where I don't reflect now, because I still have a task at hand. And to be able to have the final one in LA, where the city of stars, or want to be stars, or trying to be stars, or think they're stars, however you cut it, it couldn't have been a better place, historic place. The DNA and the ghost and the history that the Forum have produced, is fitting that our end a 28, 29-year career since 1988 in a historic place called the Forum in Inglewood, California. This is something that came as an opportunity to be here. I couldn't tell you last year that this was going to be in this arena. It just happened. Like things that happens in life, where it just happens. And here we are, and here I am, with a credible opponent, who I don't think look at himself as an opponent. And that's the wisdom of minds, and that's the wisdom that I train with, and that's the wisdom that I understand through history. Is that Joe Smith Jr. is trying to come and make a name or bigger for himself. And if I didn't have that challenge in front of me, it'd just be a fight. Well, I never took the easy way out for those who follow me and those who understand my manly side about me. Is that I don't want no one to say they gave me anything. Give me an opportunity or give me a door and I'll open it myself. I don't have to convince anyone. I don't believe anymore that this is possible. This is not emotional and it won't be emotional, because I got a task at hand. Just remember that leading up to this fight. I don't have to act like a buffoonery on the stage. I don't have to push and shove. I've done that already. But what I am going to do is show you that why I've been called 3 different titles in boxing. From the executioner to the B-Hop to the alien. They all exist in me. But December 17th, you will see the executioner. Full circle. Full circle. So I'm gonna let the press conference, I was just giving you a little warm up. gonna let it start and let my partner, my friend Oscar, say the opening. But I just want y'all to remember, because y'all gonna keep asking, you sure, you sure, you sure? And Oscar would tell you that I said to my partner and Golden Boy staff that we're gonna put this in writing. Win, lose, or draw. No excuse. Final one. Final one.
So you heard it firsthand from the champ. So we are really excited to put this card together. We want to first of all thank HBO for once again giving us the opportunity, and December 17th will be historical, will be a, I want to say coming out party, but at the same time, obviously, it's the last hurrah of a legend, a champion who deserves to go out in a way where he was able to go out on his terms, his way. Only legends can do that. Only superstars who transcend the sport. And what really excites me about this event is that he's not fighting somebody who is just a walk in the park, or somebody who you know, people can say, well, he's going to win this fight with no problem, hands down. No, he's fighting a guy who, if anybody else was fighting, this gentleman here has every opportunity in the book to win a world title. But that's who Hopkins is. That's who Hopkins chose. We talked about it. We discussed it. I mean, it wouldn't have been my decision or my first option, because you know, it's going to be a very tough fight. It's going to be a difficult fight, but that's who Hopkins is, and that's what we acknowledge and we must respect. And somebody just asked me before I walked in, you know, what does Hopkins mean in the sport? And I said, in simple terms, I said, Hopkins is not boxing. Hopkins is life. Hopkins is transcends the sport. Hopkins makes the 60-year-old who's in the street wanting to do something or wanting to run 5 miles or 10 miles, well, they see Hopkins and the fact that he did it, then they convince themselves that they can do it. That's who Hopkins is. And you know, Hopkins is a fighter who will be talked about for many decades to come. That's who he is, not only because of what he accomplished in the ring, but what he's going to accomplish outside the ring, and what he already has accomplished outside the ring. And that's a legacy. That's far beyond boxing. That's bigger than the sport. And so, therefore, that's why I'm proud and excited and happy that this fight is taking place in an arena where I began my professional career, and now my partner and friend is I don't want to say ending, but it is ending his career. So it's an honor for me, and I thank you for giving Los Angeles and all of Angelinos the opportunity to see you live. So we are thrilled, excited, and at this moment, it is my pleasure to introduce to you, he is the Senior Vice President of the West Coast and General Manager of the Forum and MSG, and his name is Nick Spanato. Nick Spanato.
Good afternoon, everybody. First, I'd like to welcome the media once again to the forum. I see a lot of familiar faces from some of the exciting fights we've had here over the last 3 years since we've been open. I want to welcome back all our friends at HBO Boxing and Golden Boy Promotions. An extra special welcome to Oscar De La Hoya, a boxing legend and a gentleman. We're extremely proud to continue the forum's extraordinary boxing history with all the people up here on this dais today. They are truly the best in the business. Everyone here at the forum is excited to host this highly anticipated December 17th battle between Bernard, the Executioner Hopkins, and Joe Smith Jr. We're thrilled that our historic venue will be the location for Bernard's last fight of his long and storied career. December 17th is set to be a great night of fights, and we look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you.
Hi everybody. My next fight will be December 16th. It will be a main event in Palm Springs. I'm so excited about this fight. I want to say thank you Golden Boy Promotion. Make it happen. It will be a good opportunity for me and good fight for fans and for myself. I will be ready.
Thank you, Slava. And you know, he is facing a guy in Sullivan Barrera, who, if anybody knows boxing, I mean, Sullivan Barrera is a very tough, durable, experienced fighter. So, I mean, this is a real fight. This is a card that nobody wants to miss. Every time we go to Fantasy Springs Casino, the fans come out, they pack the place up, but most importantly, it's exciting. So, and obviously this is no exception. We're really, really excited about this this whole week leading up to the Hopkins fight. So that takes me to thanking the sponsors. Thank you very much, Tecate, for always giving us the opportunity for supporting boxing, and we're really, really excited. I'm excited that that Tecate Beer will be supporting boxing in 2017 in a major, major, major way, in an unheard of way. I mean, you guys are going to be mind-boggled. You're going to be surprised. They're going to take boxing to a whole new level, I feel, with their marketing, with their promotion. You know, obviously, Tecate has been able to secure Canelo Alvarez, which is the first fighter, I believe, in the history of the brand that they've endorsed. They have big things to come, not only for Canelo, a few surprises that I can't talk about, but I'm really excited that 2017 boxing will come out in a major way, along with Golden Boy, who we're very, very proud to be the sponsors and the partners there with Tecate Beer. So thank you very much for your continued support to the sport of boxing. Let me now move on to the main event, why we're here. Like I said before, it is an honor. It is a pleasure to introduce to you for the last and final time. I'm going to speak in Spanish several times during the press conference, but for the last and final time, we are witnessing a gentleman who has transcended the sport of boxing, and I cannot. I mean, words really can't describe on how I feel about Bernard Hopkins, not only for what he's accomplished inside the ring, but what he's accomplished outside the ring. So this fight was relatively easy to make because when you have two top caliber fighters, either side doesn't hesitate to make a good fight happen. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you the president and CEO of Star Boxing, who represents Joe Smith Jr., and he is my good friend, Joe De Guardia. Joe.
Thank you, Oscar. It's certainly a pleasure to be here in California, LA Forum, where so much history has taken place in this sport. I want to thank Oscar, thank Golden Boy Promotions, and Oscar's right. This fight was relatively easy to make, and that's a testament to Bernard Hopkins. You know, most people would shy away from a puncher like Joe Smith in their last fight. But I actually knew Bernard was going to do it because he's like a fly attracted to that fire or whatever it might be. And but it's an honor, and I thank Bernard for taking this, and Oscar. Pleased to be on HBO, great network of boxing, and it's going to be a spectacular night on December 17th. You know, Bernard is the kind of guy that you look at and say, 4 decades he's been in the sport, the 80s, the 90s, I mean, 4 decades. It's really something special. And I look sometimes, I point at Bernard and tell my kids, look at the kind of shape, because they tell me I'm out of shape now. So I say, you know, listen, 52 is not that bad. All right? You can still be in shape. But Bernard was fighting in the 80s. I was boxing in the 80s. I don't see myself getting back into that ring now. So it's really something special. But he really picked probably too dangerous of an opponent. And as much as I talk to my kids about the discipline about Bernard, I also respect and honor Joe Smith. He's the quintessential guy that America could look at. He's the guy that's out there every morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, out there with that sledgehammer, the jackhammer. He's a laborer. He's still working. Okay? Up until the time when I called him to tell him that he's going to fight Bernard Hopkins, he's a union laborer and was working. That day he actually told his boss, I'm going to go home and run, because I got the Bernard Hopkins fight. But it's something when you have two guys that you can really respect. Bernard, for all he's done in this sport, the discipline he's shown as a man inside and outside the ring, and Joe Hopkins, who is the quintessential American. Really, I mean, how you like that? So, you like that? That's because I anticipate that he's going to be taking the page from your book, and for the next 3 decades, I'm going to have him on the top of the world. But truthfully, it's really an honor. Joe Smith is a really true working man. And a lot of the people really look at that, and it resonates with the people. He's who people can look towards and say, wow, look at this guy. Gets up every morning, works like I get up every morning. Like America actually does. We all get up and we work and do our jobs every single morning. And that's what Joe really embodies. And when he fought Fonfara and went to Chicago in June and fought on national television, nobody gave him a shot. They looked at him, look, he's a worker, he's a laborer, he's strong, but nobody gave him a shot against Fonfara. He was a 15-to-1 underdog, a 20-to-1 underdog, you know, and he went into Chicago and shocked the world, really the boxing world. Shocked Fonfara, that was his hometown in Chicago, and scored a sensational first-round knockout. That was, and Oscar was talking about his knockout power, his 18th knockout in 22 wins. It was his 16th win in a row. He's 22-1, and 7th out of 8 knockouts in his last 8 fights. He really works hard. All right? We're expecting an awful lot on December 17th. He's been working very hard. Jerry Capobianco is his trainer, Phil Capobianco. They work with him in the union and also in the boxing ring. But he's really applied his craft. He's really learned his craft. He can really punch. In the fight in June, he won the WBC international title, and we're very proud that he'll be walking into the ring with that title. And Bernard really has picked a true challenge here. And, you know, I love you. You've been historic for boxing, but this time, you're biting off a little more than you can chew.
I thought this record was the other way around, but now it's they told me.
But anyway, at this point in time, I'd like to introduce the number 2 rated WBC light heavyweight in the world. He is the WBC international champion. He has really mobilized an entire laborers union around him. We're getting calls already from the local unions out here in Los Angeles that want to see Joe Smith fight. He's a real working hard individual outside the ring, a real man outside the ring, and a real puncher inside the ring. Joe Smith.
Well, I'd like to start off with thanking HBO, Golden Boy Promotions, and Bernard Hopkins here for choosing me for this opportunity for his last fight. And I also like to thank most of all my trainer, Jerry Capobianco. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. You know, December 17th, I'm so glad that I was chosen for this opportunity to fight Bernard on his way out. You know, like everyone's been saying, I am a hard puncher, I'm a hard worker, and I'm going to train super hard, harder than I ever have for this fight. I'm going to take full advantage of it, and I'm looking forward to putting on a great show for you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe and Joe. We greatly appreciate the challenge, and we greatly appreciate the talent and everything you've done. So boxing is obviously indebted with you. You have been doing amazing work back east, and we are going to open up our arms wide open and give you a warm welcome here in LA. Come fight week. You're a class act, and it's really a pleasure and an honor to work with you. So now on to the legend. And when you think about legends, I mean, you think about Kobe Bryant, you think about Muhammad Ali, you think about Joe Frazier, Larry Bird. You know, I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. But you never think about a legend while he's an active athlete. You know, it's normally when the athlete retires and then you wait a few years maybe, or a few months, and then, you know, people start recognizing the legacy that they have left behind. Well, with Hopkins, you know, he did shatter the consecutive, you know, record of defenses, which is more than 20, and that was no problem. I mean, obviously it was. He did a lot of hard work. But what makes Bernard Hopkins is that he just doesn't stop. He just keeps going, and he keeps on surprising people. And I'm sure if it was to for Bernard Hopkins, I mean, he would continue till he's 60. That's who he is. That's to me, that's what a legend is. A legend that takes care of himself outside the ring and inside the ring. And every single fighter that is listening to me now, that is gonna watch this press conference or is gonna witness the fight live on HBO Championship Boxing or at the forum here, you know, take a look at this young man, what he's accomplished, what he's going to accomplish, what he represents. To me, that's what a legend is all about. Not only because he's a great fighter and he's had some tremendous wins. I mean, the list goes on from Felix Trinidad to Roy Jones Jr., Cali Pavlik, Antonio Tarver, John Pascal, Glenn Johnson, yours truly, which I'm still feeling that body shot, just so you can know. But you know what? I'm actually honored that I stepped inside the ring with my partner, with my friend, with a legend, a real, true legend of the sport. So it is my great pleasure to introduce to you a man, like I said, that transcends boxing, who is bigger than boxing, who, when he retires from this sport, when he has his last fight against Joe Smith, people are going to talk about Bernard Hopkins, not for his boxing, but for the legacy that he is leaving outside the ring. So he is from Philadelphia. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the living legend, the executioner, Bernard Hopkins.
Thanks, and even though I spoke earlier, I'm not going to be really too long, but I got to say tickets are still available. GoldenBoyPromotion.com. Also, you know, if anybody here really paid attention and said it, I'd rather be the one to say it first, but y'all might have been thinking of it. I'm going to give you at least that. 1988, like I said, I ain't going to do too much reflecting because I got to look forward, and when you start looking back, you can't really look forward and back at the same time. But you know how many, Ronald Reagan was just on his way out. Think about it. Ronald Reagan was on his way out. Do the math. 1988, 2016. That means 2 of the Bushes, 2 of the Clintons, right? All right, now following, you know what the rest is. Football, basketball, hockey, golf, maybe the late great Palmer. Name any other athlete in any sport that ever been through 4 or 5 different pregnancies, years of 2 terms of each president, both of the Bushes, senior and the junior. Just pay attention and watch. December 17th, with a puncher, I run the punches. I don't run from them. And so when the puncher punches, understand that only way he know he's hitting something is when he hits something. Let's see. Can the fox dismantle the puncher? Because if that's all he has and brings to the table, and you got a gun and there's no bullets in there, you might as well throw the gun down and run.
Talk to him.
Ronald Reagan was on his way out. I'm going home.
So now we know who Bernard Hopkins is voting for, right? He said 2 Clintons. No, all seriousness, we thank you. We thank you for being here. It's going to be a magical week. We're truly excited y para toda la gente, obviamente aquí en Los Ángeles, a todos los fans, la cartelera va a estar llena de boxeadores locales, hispanos, latinos, mexicanos, de todo, las razas. Este evento queremos que sea uno que la gente pueda estar orgullosa, que pueda estar contenta, feliz y obviamente pues que vean bonitas peleas. Así que gracias, thank you very much for being here, and we will now pose the fighters for pictures. Oh, tickets are on sale today. Hoy van a la venta, así que we expect a huge crowd, so get your tickets early. We're going to have special sales going on throughout the weeks leading up, so make sure you get your tickets and they go on sale today. Thank you.
Straight here, down here, look straight down.
Down in front.
To your left. Now look down straight. Now look straight back. Straight.
Perfect. Or you can scream. All right, I'll give you more time. Yeah. Okay.
That's right, champ. That's right, champ.
Look straight down.
Yeah.
Straight to your right. To your left. To the back.
Microphone.
Good.
I always forget when they face off, we don't get audio.
Yeah. Do they cut it?
Yeah, they cut it. Because it's from the mic.
Yeah. This card's good to format, or?
Huh? Check what's on there.
It's got 22 gigs on here.
Check what's on there.
It's, what's his name? Who's this guy?
Flip the screen over.
It's Jesse, man.
Jesse?
Jesse.
Fergus?
My brother.
Oh, no.
We, well, let me give you a note because there might be a file on there that I didn't grab. Try this one.
Look straight down.